Tired of hearing the same old facts about Sweden, like IKEA, Vikings, and meatballs? Well, this isn't that video. In this video, we uncover dark secrets, untold stories, and shocking facts even most Swedes have never heard before. So hit like, comment, and subscribe to Andy Explores the World before we begin. 1. Sweden's forgotten Caribbean colony. Few people realize that Sweden once owned a slice of tropical paradise in the Caribbean, the island of St. Barthélemy. Yes, that same glamorous destination, now famous for luxury yachts and celebrity vacations, was once ruled from Stockholm. The Swedes acquired it from France in the late 18th century and ran it for nearly a century. The island became a bustling free port, where traders from across the world exchanged sugar, rum, and slaves, though Sweden later outlawed the slave trade earlier than many nations. The Swedish influence is still visible in street names like Gustavia, honoring King Gustav III. They eventually sold the island back to France in 1878 for a modest sum, roughly equivalent to a few $100,000 US, or about a few million Swedish krona today. It's a strange piece of forgotten history, a cold northern kingdom that once had a sunny Caribbean outpost. 2. The magical ice hotel of Jukkasjärvi. Deep in the Arctic wilderness of Swedish Lapland stands a hotel that disappears every spring, literally. The ice hotel in Jukkasjärvi is built entirely from snow and crystal-clear ice harvested from the nearby Torne River. Each winter, artists and designers from around the world carve new suites, chandeliers, and ice sculptures, transforming it into a frozen wonderland. When temperatures rise in April, the entire structure melts back into the river, only to be rebuilt again from scratch each November. Guests sleep in thermal sleeping bags on ice beds covered with reindeer hides, while the temperature inside remains around 23 degrees Fahrenheit year-round. There's even an ice chapel where couples can marry in glacial silence, and an ice bar serving vodka in ice glasses. A stay here costs from roughly $700 US, around 8,000 Swedish krona per night. It's one of Sweden's most spectacular and surreal experiences. 3. Fika, the Swedish coffee ritual. In Sweden, coffee isn't just a drink. It's practically a philosophy. The daily ritual called Fika means pausing work, meeting a friend, and enjoying coffee with something sweet, usually a cinnamon bun or kanelbulle. But Fika isn't about caffeine. It's about slowing down and connecting with people. Swedes take it seriously. Many workplaces even schedule official Fika breaks twice a day. The average Swede drinks around 3 to 4 cups daily, making Sweden one of the top coffee-consuming nations in the world. Cafes across Stockholm and Gothenburg overflow with locals chatting, laughing, or simply reflecting over steaming cups. Fika is a cultural equalizer. Bosses, students, and retirees all share it alike. Even big Swedish companies like IKEA and Volvo design lounge areas specifically for Fika. It's more than coffee. It's a moment of harmony, friendship, and unspoken national pride. 4. The land of 100,000 lakes. Sweden is a country where water is never far away. With more than 100,000 lakes scattered across its vast landscape, it's a paradise for anyone who loves the outdoors. These lakes were formed thousands of years ago when glaciers retreated, leaving behind a glittering mosaic of blue across the land. Some are tiny, hidden gems surrounded by pine forests, while others, like Vänern and Vättern, are so massive they resemble inland seas. In summer, Swedes flock to these waters to swim, fish, kayak, or simply bask under the midnight sun. In winter, the same lakes transform into magical ice skating rinks stretching for miles. Many summer cottages, or stugor, sit right beside them, complete with wooden docks and saunas. The lakes are not just scenery, they're part of the Swedish soul, symbolizing peace, purity, and the freedom to roam. 5. The freedom to roam, Allemansrätten. One of Sweden's most cherished traditions is Allemansrätten, the right of public access. This centuries-old law allows everyone, local or foreign, to wander freely through nature, even on privately owned land, as long as they show respect for the environment and others. You can pitch a tent for a night beside a lake, pick berries or mushrooms in the forest, or hike through meadows and mountains without asking permission. It's a philosophy rooted deeply in equality and environmental respect. Nature belongs to everyone, not just landowners. Swedes take this right seriously, teaching children from a young age how to enjoy nature responsibly. This law even inspired similar movements across Europe. Imagine paddling through a mirror-calm lake, camping under the northern stars, and knowing that this freedom is protected by law. That's the spirit of Sweden. 6. The Öresund Bridge, a marvel that turns into a tunnel. Connecting Sweden and Denmark, the Öresund Bridge is one of the most extraordinary pieces of engineering in Europe. Stretching nearly 5 miles across the water, it links the Swedish city of Malmö with the Danish capital Copenhagen. But halfway through, it does something spectacular. The bridge dives beneath the sea into an artificial island called Piberholm, and from there, it transforms into an underwater tunnel. This clever design allows ships to pass freely while maintaining an uninterrupted roadway and railway connection between the two nations. Opened in the year 2000, it symbolizes Scandinavian cooperation and innovation. Millions cross it each year, whether commuting for work or exploring the neighboring country. The view from above is breathtaking, a thin, silver line uniting two cultures across the sea. The Öresund Bridge isn't just infrastructure, it's a statement of human creativity blending perfectly with nature. 7. Sweden's sweet obsession with candy. Believe it or not, Swedes eat more candy per person than anyone else on Earth, roughly 18 pounds a year each. This national sugar craze is known as Lördagsgodis, meaning Saturday sweets. The idea is that children, and let's be honest, adults too, can indulge freely in candy only on Saturdays. The tradition began in the 1950s, after scientists advised limiting sugar intake to once a week to prevent tooth decay. Today, every supermarket dedicates aisles to colorful pick-and-mix sections where customers scoop gummy bears, chocolate, licorice, and sour worms by the pound. During Easter, the obsession explodes as people fill giant cardboard eggs with treats. Even health-conscious Swedes proudly defend their candy culture. It's part of the national identity. Whether it's salty licorice that shocks tourists or rows of pastel sweets glowing under bright lights, Sweden takes its sugar very seriously. 8. The day Sweden changed sides of the road overnight. On September 3rd, 1967, Sweden performed one of the most ambitious traffic experiments in history. The country switched from driving on the left to the right side of the road in a single day. It was called Dagen H, short for Höger trafikomläggningen, meaning the right-hand traffic diversion. The operation was a nationwide event involving millions of drivers, thousands of new traffic signs, and even redesigned intersections. At exactly 4:55 in the morning, all vehicles stopped, switched lanes, and waited for the signal to resume driving on the opposite side. Miraculously, the transition happened with minimal accidents, largely due to meticulous planning and public campaigns. New road markings, fresh driver manuals, and even car headlights were adjusted overnight. The most astonishing part: traffic accidents actually dropped after the switch, proving that Swedes could adapt to even the most chaotic national makeover. 9. The Museum of Failed Inventions. In the heart of Stockholm stands one of the world's most delightfully odd museums, the Museum of Failure. Instead of celebrating success, it showcases over 100 quirky, bizarre, and downright disastrous products that never made it. You'll find flops from major brands like Colgate's beef-flavored toothpaste, Apple's Newton digital assistant, and even a Harley-Davidson perfume. The idea came from psychologist Dr. Samuel West, who wanted to show that innovation often grows from mistakes. The museum's motto? Learning is the only real failure if you don't learn from it. Visitors are encouraged to laugh, reflect, and appreciate the creative courage behind every flop. It's proof that even brilliant nations like Sweden, home to IKEA and Spotify, understand that trial and error is part of progress. In a world obsessed with perfection, the Museum of Failure proudly celebrates the beauty of getting things wrong. 10. When Sweden let its citizens run the national Twitter account. For several years, Sweden ran one of the most democratic social experiments on social media. It handed control of the official national Twitter account at Sweden to a different citizen every week. From 2011 to 2018, teachers, farmers, artists, even taxi drivers took turns representing the country online. The idea, called Curators of Sweden, aimed to show the world the diversity, humor, and authenticity of everyday Swedes. It was bold and risky. Some users posted jokes, others shared serious social issues or stunning photos of the countryside. Occasionally, tweets caused controversy, but that was part of the charm. The project became a global sensation and inspired similar campaigns in other countries. In a world where governments usually speak in polished tones, Sweden handed the microphone to its people, and the result was refreshingly human, funny, and honest. 11. The strictly controlled world of Systembolaget. In Sweden, buying alcohol isn't as simple as walking into any store. It's done through a state-owned monopoly called Systembolaget. Created in the 1950s to reduce alcohol abuse, this unique network of shops is the only place, besides bars and restaurants, where Swedes can legally purchase beverages stronger than 3.5% alcohol. The stores are spotless, polite, and famously efficient, but you won't find flashy ads or promotions. Marketing alcohol is strictly forbidden. Instead, shelves are organized by type, price, and origin, with detailed descriptions just like a wine encyclopedia. Clerks are often trained sommeliers, ready to recommend the perfect pairing for your dinner. Opening hours are limited, and you must be at least 20 years old to buy. Surprisingly, most Swedes support the system. It's part of their culture of moderation and responsibility, a blend of freedom with firm social order. 12. Stockholm, the city of 14 islands. Sweden's capital, Stockholm, isn't just a city. It's an archipelago masterpiece built across 14 islands, where Lake Mälaren meets the Baltic Sea. More than 50 graceful bridges link its districts, blending medieval alleys, modern design, and sparkling waterways into one breathtaking panorama. Locals often commute by ferry or kayak, while tourists wander from the Royal Palace in Gamla stan to the sleek art galleries of Södermalm. The city's skyline gleams with copper rooftops and church spires reflected in calm blue waters. Stockholm is also one of the world's cleanest capitals. The water is so pure that you can drink straight from the tap or even swim in the city centre. It's a rare metropolis where nature and architecture coexist in perfect balance. Whether under the golden summer light or wrapped in winter snow, Stockholm feels like a fairy tale built on water. 13. Midsummer, Sweden's wildest celebration. If Christmas is cozy, midsummer is pure madness, in the best way possible. Every June, when the sun barely sets, Swedes head to the countryside to celebrate midsummer, a joyful festival marking the summer solstice. Villages fill with flower wreaths, dancing, laughter, and tables loaded with pickled herring, potatoes, and endless shots of schnapps. The iconic maypole, or midsummer stång, becomes the center of traditional folk dances, including the famous frog dance, where adults hop around in circles pretending to be frogs. Even city streets empty out as everyone escapes to lakeside cottages for a long weekend of sunshine and celebration. It's said that any flower picked under the midnight sun will bring dreams of your future love. For Swedes, midsummer isn't just a holiday, it's a national release, a time to celebrate light, nature, and the joy of being alive in a land that endures such long winters. The Treehotel, sleeping among the pines. Deep in the forests of northern Sweden lies the Treehotel, one of the world's most imaginative places to spend a night. Instead of traditional rooms, guests sleep high among the pine branches in futuristic tree houses designed by top Scandinavian architects. Each suite has its own theme: a mirrored cube reflecting the forest, a UFO-shaped pod that seems to hover in mid-air, and even a massive bird's nest made entirely of branches. Built in harmony with nature, these structures use sustainable materials and leave minimal environmental footprints. At night, guests can watch the northern lights from their beds through panoramic windows. Prices range from about $700, roughly 8,000 Swedish krona per night, but what you get is priceless: silence, clean air, and an unforgettable view of untouched wilderness. It's Sweden's perfect blend of design, imagination, and deep respect for nature. 15. The life-saving Swedish invention, the three-point seatbelt. Few inventions have saved as many lives as Sweden's humble, yet revolutionary, three-point seatbelt. Created in 1959 by Volvo engineer Nils Bolin, this simple design transformed road safety forever. Before it, drivers relied on lap belts that often caused serious injuries in crashes. Bolin's innovation secured both the upper and lower body, dramatically reducing fatalities. Instead of patenting it for profit, Volvo made the design freely available to all car manufacturers. A selfless act estimated to have saved over 1 million lives worldwide. Today, every car on Earth uses Bolin's Swedish design, from Tokyo to New York. The invention perfectly captures Sweden's national character: practical, human-focused, and quietly heroic. So next time you buckle up, remember that small click is a Swedish gift to humanity. 16. Öresund, the village that runs on cow manure. In a small Swedish village called Västerås, the future of green energy smells, well, a bit like cows. This community runs almost entirely on biogas made from cow manure and food waste. Local farmers deliver animal waste to a processing plant, where it's converted into methane that powers buses, heats homes, and even fuels cars. The leftovers are turned into rich fertilizer, completing a perfect environmental loop. It's clean, renewable, and surprisingly efficient. One cow can generate enough biogas each year to drive a car nearly 2,000 miles. The project has drawn global attention as a model for sustainable living, proving that even something as unglamorous as manure can power a modern society. In Sweden, nothing goes to waste, not even waste itself. This village stands as a proud example of Swedish ingenuity turning everyday problems into eco-friendly solutions. 17. The northernmost hotel in the world. Far above the Arctic Circle lies Sweden's proud frontier, home to the world's northernmost hotel. Nestled in the tiny village of Jukkasjärvi, it's surrounded by frozen rivers, reindeer herds, and endless snow-covered tundra. During winter, daylight lasts only a few hours, but the sky dances with green and pink streaks of the aurora borealis, offering a spectacle few places on Earth can match. Guests arrive by snowmobile or dog sled, staying in cozy cabins and ice suites built from blocks cut right out of the Torn River. Temperatures outside often drop below -20 Fahrenheit, yet inside, the warmth of fireplaces and traditional Sami hospitality makes every night magical. In summer, the same landscape transforms. Sunlight never sets, and the midnight sun paints the sky in gold. This hotel captures the very essence of Sweden's wild Arctic spirit, silent, surreal, and breathtakingly beautiful. 18. The Avicii Arena, the world's largest sphere. In Stockholm stands an architectural marvel that looks straight out of a sci-fi movie, the Avicii Arena, formerly known as the Öresund Globe. It's the largest spherical building on the planet, measuring more than 350 feet high and symbolizing the sun in Sweden's grand solar system art project, which spreads scale models of planets across the country. Opened in 1989, it has hosted everything from NHL games and Eurovision contests to royal events and massive concerts. In 2021, it was renamed to honor the late Swedish DJ Avicii, turning the arena into a global symbol of mental health awareness and hope. Visitors can ride the Skyview gondola up the side of the sphere for a panoramic view of Stockholm's skyline. It's a fitting tribute to Sweden's creative energy, bold design, music, and humanity all shining under one enormous dome. 19. Sweden's surprising top export. When people think of Sweden's exports, they picture IKEA furniture or Volvo cars. But the country's biggest export isn't something you can sit in or assemble. It's industrial machinery and precision equipment. From mining machines and turbines to robotics and manufacturing tools, Sweden quietly powers industries all over the world. Brands like Atlas Copco, Sandvik, and ABB produce cutting-edge technology that forms the backbone of modern engineering. This focus on high-quality machinery stems from Sweden's long tradition of craftsmanship, engineering education, and sustainability. Unlike flashy consumer goods, these exports build cities, factories, and infrastructure across continents. In fact, machinery makes up more than 40% of Sweden's total exports, worth billions of US dollars and hundreds of billions of Swedish krona each year. It's the invisible engine behind Sweden's prosperity, efficient, reliable, and built to last. 20. The ban on dancing without a license. Until the year 2023, Sweden had one of Europe's most unusual laws. You couldn't legally dance in public without a government permit. This rule, dating back to the 1930s, was originally meant to control rowdy nightlife and keep order in bars and cafes. Even spontaneous dancing in restaurants or clubs technically required a license, though police rarely enforced it in modern times. Still, many bar owners played it safe by posting signs reading "No dancing" to avoid fines. For decades, Swedes joked that their country, famous for ABBA and Eurovision, somehow made dancing a crime. After years of public debate, the law was finally scrapped, and the nation celebrated with, of course, dancing in the streets. Today, movement and music flow freely again, and the end of the dance ban became a quirky symbol of Sweden's evolving balance between structure and joy. 21. Free school lunch for every student. In Sweden, no child studies on an empty stomach. Since 1946, the country has provided free school lunches to all students, a policy rooted in equality and care. Every day, over 1 million children eat hot, nutritious meals prepared in school kitchens, often featuring meatballs, potatoes, crisp bread, and fresh vegetables. There are always vegetarian options, and menus are planned by nutritionists to meet national health standards. The meals are served family-style, encouraging kids to share, talk, and clean up together, an education in manners as much as nutrition. Teachers often eat alongside students, creating a sense of community and respect. For Sweden, this isn't charity, it's an investment in the future. Studies show it boosts concentration, attendance, and long-term well-being. It's a simple idea with a powerful message. In a truly fair society, every child deserves both education and nourishment. And that wraps up our deep dive into Sweden, a land where ice hotels melt into rivers, dancing once needed a permit, and even cow manure fuels entire villages. From the calm beauty of its lakes to the innovation behind the seatbelt, Sweden proves that practicality and imagination can thrive side by side. If you enjoyed discovering these untold stories, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to Andy Explores the World for more mind-blowing facts from every corner of the planet. Tell me in the comments which Swedish fact surprised you the most. Until next time, stay curious, stay humble, and keep exploring.